Welcome back to DXB today, still on the topic of shopping, be it online or in-store, luxury and innovation. Now, our next guest is an experienced luxury marketing and communications professional who has built a successful luxury apparel boutique business from the ground up and is now the Senior Vice President of Luxury at FRAME Publicity. Liberty, thank you so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We are all online shoppers here on this very panel, and I wanted to ask you, who better than you, because you are one of the marketing I guess experts behind all of this. And just earlier in the roundup we were talking about getting calls from brands. How would you say the whole shopping experience has changed over the years?
There's two parts to it. I see that there's been the pendulum swinging back to people preferring in-store. They do their research online, but then they're coming into the mall and to their favorite retailers to purchase, in part because there's a certain emotion that comes with the in-store experience that can't be replicated online. I know that people were and the predictions and growth for e-commerce is huge, but that's largely when you're going to replace, you've already purchased it and you want to buy another one, or you already have a trusted brand and you want to just, again, that you can trust to buy online. But largely, what I'm seeing is that people really want that immersive experience in store. We all know what it's like when you go into your favorite retailer and they know your name, or they're like, oh, I have something I want to show you.
I'll go to them forever.
Exactly. And so that feeling, that emotion, it's not going to fade with time. I think people will continue to want to discover in store. But again, you find that, especially with Gen Z, they're doing their research online, but they're very intentional. And so they still come into the stores, the malls.
It is interesting that you say that, Liberty, because I don't feel that way. I thought everyone was like me, and that going shopping, going into a store, parking up, finding the thing, purchasing it, taking it back home, I thought of that as an errand, not an activity.
Okay.
And when everyone started online shopping, I was like, why are they building all these new malls? But they are building new malls.
Yes.
And do you think those malls are going to be filled up with shoppers?
I do. I think especially in this region, that there is a cultural element to it, because our malls are some of the largest in the world. So the experience is not just the shopping, it's the F&B, it's the food, it's the entertainment. It's also a way to have a sense of community. You come into a mall sometimes because you just want to catch up with friends, and it's a great place to do that. But I will say 9 times out of 10, you will end up purchasing. and so while I get the initial inconvenience, the fact of the matter is that there's such a benefit to coming into the stores.
And obviously you have to go to the mall to show off the luxury thing that you bought. By going to the mall.
Yes, there is
Because
that.
then how will you know?
And people watching in Dubai. Let's not forget, in Dubai Mall, sit in the Angelina Cafe and just watch.
So you touched upon bridging the gap between the online and the physical store, but also brand loyalty, customer loyalty. How do you build that in a brand? What advice do you have for people out there watching?
There's so many ways, but I would say that creating the bond it's the emotional touch, and I think that there's lots of ways that brands do that, especially locally here, by collaborating with artists, offering their clients limited edition designs, personalization, and I think those really solidify loyalty. I find that, at least in my case and with the brands that I represent, when we add those touches in, the client comes back time and time again. And of course now we have so much data to pull from that solidifies and reinforces that point.
I mean, I feel like we shop in different places, but I swear when Kafu sends me that code, if you come back one more time, you get 20, I am coming, I am running.
Exactly.
Liberty, I'm curious, because you bring a lot of brands to market and you help them expand, build customer loyalty, as well as have an experience that is immersive with the customer in turn.
Yeah.
What are the common mistakes that you've seen young brands make right at the beginning? Of course, it's to inform the way that you're also coaching them, but what do you think about that?
I think that at the end of the day, what I think the consumer seeks is transparency, and they can sense when there isn't a legitimacy in what they're trying to communicate. So I think if you can approach, especially current audiences, come with a very clear purpose, come with your values very clearly communicated, and not just online, but in store. So the signage, if you want to represent sustainability, then you need to incorporate that into the in-store experience. So I see sometimes that brands want to race to the finish, i.e. sales. What they need to do is take the time to educate and really engage the client. That's how you build that long-term sustainable engagement and loyalty.
Are they focused on social advocacy, do you think?
Yes, I think more so. I mean, that's going to be a huge topic moving ahead. I think that undoubtedly will be one of the most definitive reasons either for luxury to survive or not. And this is why you see LVMH and Gucci and other luxury brands really doubling down on developing sustainable messaging and circular fashion messaging.
I want to ask you, Liberty, a little bit about the struggles of online business owners, and this question is open for you as well, Anisha. I was just chatting to a friend of mine who has a kids' clothing brand, and it is a little bit more on the premium side, I would say, and she was talking about how these Chinese brands that are in the market, which sell you amazing, really stunning clothes for really cheap, has kind of killed her business, because although she can brag about the quality and the craftsmanship and all of that, it is a kids' clothing brand at the end of the day. Let's face it, most parents don't really want to invest in kids' fashion only for them to have their throw up and chocolate milk all over it. So what is your take on these?
So fast.
Yeah, and they grow out of it, exactly.
They do. But I reiterate the point that has always been a belief of mine, which is that if you buy less, buy better. So even if it's children's clothing, let's say that I invest in a beautiful sweater and my child wears it once, but then I know I can give it to a friend or a cousin, and that way I know that has longevity. The sort of the one-offs, the fast fashion, again, I don't think it's long for this world. I have faith in the fact that people will eventually understand the impact, because fashion is one of the most wasteful things, and really they need to integrate the communication that says that if you buy the one-offs, it's bad for the environment.
That's what got me, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about revitalizing retail spaces. What advice do you have in terms of how can we revamp it? Because you said it's kind of in right now. It's trendy again. It's more popular. People want that experience. So what should people be doing?
I think they should be collaborating with local designers. Collaborate with, up and coming, especially in the skincare and beauty space. There's ways that you can do collaborations. So fashion meet, beauty. I think one of the biggest trends now is in sports. So finding that there's this sports meets fashion, and some of the sort of, if you look at like a Lululemon, it goes back to community. So reinventing the in-store is about doing these really great dynamic collaborations that I think people want to discover. So they have to come into the stores.
One last piece of advice for anyone watching. If there's one thing that they can do to really get themselves out there and to gain that brand loyalty.
I can't be a bigger advocate for local designers. There's so many beautiful local designers and local businesses. Do your part, go into those small retailers. There's lots of them in Dubai. Try to buy local. At the end of the day, you can make a difference for that brand.
I love it. Eco-conscious and homegrown brands. I'm all for it. Thank you so much, Liberty.
Thank you.
You've been full of great advice. Fatis, though, over to you, because we're about to put Anisha in the spotlight, aren't we?
That's right, Anisha. DXB in 60 is about to start. We're going to put 60 seconds on the clock, quick fire questions to try and get to know you as much as possible while we still have you. Does that sound okay?
Sneaky.
All right, let's start the clock. 3, 2, 1. What was your first job?
I was a receptionist.
Okay, where were you a receptionist at?
I can't tell you that. I'll have to kill you.
Oh, gosh, all right. Your motto in life and in work?
Shine.
If you could have an AI assistant, what tasks would you have the assistant do?
Manage my calendar.
If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Alec Padamsi.
Who is that?
He is the man who brought theatre to India. He's a master playwright and advertising legend.
Amazing. Top tip for entrepreneurs?
Don't grow too fast.
Okay. Best way to unwind after a stressful day?
Stroke my cat.
Your go-to restaurant in Dubai?
Ooh, has to be quinoa.
And what is your favorite skincare routine or brand?
You mean product?
Product, sure.
Brand.
Mascara. I'm naked without it.
What's a book, movie, or series that you recommend?
Ooh, it's a new one that I'm watching now called Snowpiercer.
And of course, we have to ask you, why Dubai?
Because it's the land of opportunity.
I like that. Yeah, you answered more questions than most. Well done.
Well done, Anisha. And thank you so much, Liberty. This has been such a fun conversation. Thank you again for both your time.
Thank you.
All right, guys, now it's time for a quick break, but please don't go anywhere just yet, because we have a fabulous performance by none other than Venus and the Chili Band.
Hi guys, this is Venus and the Chili's Band, and watch out for our song, I'm Simply the Best, so stay tuned.